on can we buy the dip. I got one question from one of my subscribers, and that was, and if you are listening to this video, please do type in comment box below. That was a question asked: can we start nibbling in or do SIP on some after doing some good fundamental analysis, or I'd say the exact word was, can we do some basic fundamental analysis and start buying those in SIP mode for um, for small cap, mid cap, or large cap, basically any any market cap agnostic. I thought I'll try to answer this question in a more detailed way and come live, and also those might be interested in to know whether should we buy the dip or not at this stage. And I'll at the end I will share with you what I'm doing as part of the process, so that you can take some advantage of that and see whether it benefits you in any way. And again, there's no recommendations of anything. Please do consider your um, advisor about before taking any actions. So first of all, as you see, the market is in downtrend or it correcting mode, and which is fair enough, because after going through a big rally, as I explained in the last video, that you have to understand the cycles. And first thing first is that you need to understand at what stage we are in and what cycle we are in. If you're investing in a particular country, like I look at multiple countries when I do my investing, so I have to understand each country differently and work towards that. And the easiest way to understand that is to understand the environment we are in. India market has been uh, on a roll for quite some time, and now it is correcting a bit, and we don't know what the correction will look like. So we want to be cautious, and you just want to make sure that you don't just jump in. And I am not of a view to start doing SIP when you are kind of a passive active investor, and I kind of call myself an active investor. I want to make sure I get the best of the prices in this case. So the steps which I am following is I'm doing a lot of reading, understanding the businesses, making sure my shopping list and my companies which I want to buy in or add more of it, I need to use this environment to my advantage. All right. One thing which I generally do is whenever market cracks is I do have a kind of an exposure to bring some stability to my portfolio. As part of my portfolio allocation approach is to buy into ETFs. Generally, I'm not a big proponent of buying that, but I'm buying it for some future reasons, which I'll share with you later. But that's something I keep allocating myself in, because it's just brings some stability, and I'll have some future strategy which I want to run with those ETFs later, couple of years down the line. But overall, what is important here is to understand the companies, understand their business model, understand what is the runway they have, and if and try and keep making list of it, what you think, what resonates with you, because there's a big shopping list going on, so you need to figure out where your strength lies and try and do it. At the end of the day, thanks for giving thumbs up, really appreciate that. So at the end of the day, you can hold in long-term portfolio like 2025 stocks, and that is also in particular sector locations. So you have to just play in that particular context. You can't have hundreds of stocks in your portfolio, right? That's not what we want. But as far as short term, or which we call it lab portfolio, we want to keep on. For me, I'm just kind of reduce my exposure tremendously in the lab portfolio, and I shared that on my Twitter handle that I'm going on cash. That is purely on my lab portfolio. The part of the long term portfolio is, if I have a particular position, I think I've got an opportunity to get in to another sector, or if I'm overexposed, I will rather get into that particular stock. And that's how I look at it. So you look at sectors, you look at the companies, you try and see what is your allocation in that sector. And it is not that difficult. You can make it that in a simple Excel sheet and keep a eye on it. Okay, so that's one approach, which one thing which I'm doing. Second is I'm also looking at the environment and seeing when there's a tide will turn, right? We don't know what's coming in our way. I just want to make sure I don't just keep buying at the dip and it keep going down further, and then I don't have a cash to buy. Rather, I will just follow my process, and if that process gives me an opportunity, I will just add some stocks. Now coming to stocks, so this is a larger framework. And second point is, you keep looking at stocks which you think are correcting less in this particular market. What do you mean by they're outperforming the index? It is very simple. You just follow that, take a chart, look at your index, and see whether that particular stock is corrected more than index from since when started correcting, and keep an eye on that and understand that what is that company doing that is not correcting. You start finding that when you are doing this exercise of finding the leaders, there are stocks from um, that particular sector is correcting less. So you just have to keep an eye on that, right? I don't want to name any particular stock because there are quite a few. I'm making a list of it. Probably if you put a comment below that, probably we can share that in another live or another video. But there are tons of video people keep sharing on YouTube. You can look at that and get some cues about it, right? I'm more talk about what I'm doing as part of Peaceful Weekend Investing, because stock names are plenty on the Twitter, as well as their fellow YouTubers. They are sharing that. I think it's about mindset is what I kind of focus on, and stocks you can build as part of a framework, right? So those are two aspects. So first is about doing the understanding of the sectors, companies, and then looking at those companies, what are they doing, and why they're not correcting as much as their other market is correcting. So you can see there's a carnage in small and medium enterprise companies. I've never looked at it. I've never invested on it, so I have no idea. But all I know is that space I don't want to be in. I have spent a lot of time building the solutions in the same domain, and I at least have a fairly decent understanding with my exposure in the stock market manipulation solution implementations, that how the manipulation happens. So you have to be very, very careful. It's your capital. You have to protect it. So don't try buy the dip in the SME sector. Again, don't buy that dip, because that is not the space. If you're starting off and novice, you should not look into that. Again, apologies, I'm coming live from my car because I'm just waiting on while my son has gone for some sporting activity. I thought I can do this live and take that liberty. I know that it's sometimes inconvenient that I don't want to announce it. I thought it would be good to share at least anyway, rather than not just showing up. So, and being a busy professionals around it, I think we all appreciate that this is something I'm just doing because I enjoy sharing my knowledge. And so if you are new to my channel and you're not subscribed to, I keep coming up with regular videos to make your journey peaceful in stock market as part of Peaceful Weekend Investing. My name is Shivendra Bhatia. So do consider subscribing so you get notified whenever I'm coming live or creating more videos which can help you in your journey. And also you can share it if you think you find it worth. Now coming back to our point of should I be buying the dip? So personally, I think at this moment of time, it's more about educating yourself. I'm waiting for a particular level because I look at the environments and then decide my um, actions. And I'm not just jumping in buying the dips. I just want to make sure that environment is right enough for me to start putting in more money. And start. I don't want to buy the dip at this point. But overall, what I think is very important is because all this time the market was just going up. Last month or before that, everybody was like showing up that there's a lot of money to be made and everybody was making profits. But question is, did you sell on the top? Right now, everybody is coming up and telling that, hey, you start taking some profit off the table. My problem to that is that where were you when the market was right on the top and asking that? Now everybody can say to take some profit off the table. When you are right on the top, you should know when to take money off the table, right? Because there has to be a limit to the greed, because stock market is a game of regret. No matter what, I keep saying it, as long as you know this point, you will be knowing the times that you cannot time the market right on the top and bottom. So it's better to, if you think that market is overextended, and you think that is enough that you want to take the money off the table, you should make an attempt. At least that's what I did, and I shared that. I can be completely wrong. I'm okay with that because that's what I think. I have to own my decisions, and that's what it's all about. Now, from aspect of after correcting 20-30%, and you think, should I take the profit off the table, even though you have, I think I would do that. I would not shy away, as long as, if you have to understand what was the purpose of buying the stocks. It is not just buying the SIPs on the stock, because at the end of the day, um, what is that you're looking for investment horizon is very, very important. If you're looking for investment horizon for long term, you can buy it anytime, and keep doing SIPs. Sometimes people do buy it, and then it is for short term, so you have to understand what is your time horizon. And if you can little bit wait and see what the market environment is, and then do it, you'll be able to accumulate more of good shares. So keep doing the research, keep understanding the companies, and keep looking at the charts, because chart tells you the story and price action tells you story. So that way and just follow simple Dow principle of higher highs. If there is an opportunity on the long term weekly time frame, you can start nibbling into it slowly and steadily, right? So that's the approach which I am taking. um, Anything else, any questions, if you want to put in a comment box below, just put in a comment box. I'll try to answer. So I hope it was useful, that what I'm trying to share. Let me see if I've got any comments, though I don't. If you're liking the content so far, just give a thumbs up and see if others can get notified as well, so we can have a quick peaceful chat as well. Yep. Let me wait and see if there is some more comments. Okay. So as far as the market goes, I think at this moment of time, we need to just make sure that we are looking at your own portfolio, because your portfolio is your gauge. I always keep saying that your portfolio is your index, not the index which keeps saying in the market or news, like Nifty, S&P and all that. Whatever you're holding, you need to look at your stocks first, because if they are all kind of moving downwards, or you need to understand your methodology, because that way it defines your index. So follow that, and that will give you a lot of good indication. And when I was exiting, I was seeing that, okay, the kind of stocks which I was trying to buy in my lab portfolio, they were not working out. I thought, okay, it's time for me to take a break, and look other markets as well. Okay. So that's the kind of thing which I wanted to share in this video, because that question was asked. I hope you got some value. Let me summarize a bit before I end this live chat, until we catch up again. Is buying the dip, what I'm doing is, number one, I'm trying to read as much company, understand the companies better, understand the triggers, because at the end of the day, I can only have 20 stocks in my long-term portfolio. That's my limit. It could be 20, 25, and that is where my focus will be. If I want to make a switch, I can do that at this time, because that is the best way of using this time. Second is, I will only start buying the dip when I have the right environment. At this moment of time, the environment is not correct, and you will get that opportunity. So I don't want to keep buying the dip. I want to wait and let this just settle down, because whenever, and as per my experience, and you can do this exercise, is whenever there's a sharp recovery, there always going to be a sell-off which will come in, and that is a time I think is the best time to enter. So we don't know what kind of recovery will happen, how much dip it will go. Let's assume that it goes and it start going into kind of V-shaped recovery. But as it's trying to recover, they'll be sell off, because a lot of people who are stuck, they will start booking the profit. So that can happen. So yeah, I think we have to wait for the right time before start entering. So that's the second. Third is, if you think that there is a violations happening in your stocks and you have some profit, I think I personally would take that and wait for the right time to enter. Again, you have to take your own decisions, and if you haven't exited something, you have to evaluate your stocks, understand that whether this is something you it's for long term or you took it for short term, and what was the rationale behind it, whether it was stop losses or they're not. Please don't go near SMEs. If you find any tip based stocks which have taken, I think it's better to evaluate that position quickly. So, with that note, I will try and end this live stream. I hope you find it useful. If you have watched till the end, give a thumbs up, put a comment box below if you find it useful and it was something which you could share with your friends. That'll be great. Put in comment box below and type it peaceful so that I know that you were there till the end. Thank you so much, and till the next live stream. Bye bye.